I just feel like we're supposed to dance. Whenever we
I'm
open,
with it.
I feel like we're supposed to dance. I don't know.
I'm with
Hey there, sister. How are you?
it. Good sister. How you doing?
I'm good. It's a good day. I've had a really good day. So I'll say hi to them because I want to hear how your day's been. Hey y'all, welcome to Real Women Real Talk. Welcome to our fourth episode. We are Real Women
And real women talk.
and do. And so my name is Trenace Richardson. I am the founder of Real Women. And who are you over there?
I am Shavon Carter, and I'm a longtime member and facilitator of Real Women.
You are all of those things. You are all of them. I am so glad to be here. We are so glad to be here with you all. This has been an amazing ride, even from the very beginning. Like we've just gotten started, but I feel like we got our stride. We getting there. This is a
Yep.
wonderful experience. So thank you all who are tuning in for the first time. If this is your first episode, you got to go back. You got to go back to the other episodes to catch some things. And don't forget to subscribe to us. Follow us on all our social media platforms. You'll find us at Real Women Rock or Real Women Rock, the number two. We would absolutely love to stay connected with you. Sister, real talk, how you
Yep.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I just needed to take that breath, just getting home from work. Had to go into the office today, but I'm good. It was busy, but it was
Mhm.
productive. So I like days like that.
Yeah. Does it go by
Mhm.
faster for you like that when it's like that?
It does. It's like one meeting after another, but we're talking about some good stuff, getting work done, handling business. So yeah, I love those kind of days because it does go by faster. What
Good,
about you?
good.
How are you doing?
Real talk, I had a really good day today. And I think it was
Okay.
because I wasn't bothered as much. Like, not a lot of people knocked on my door. I went in as well. I had a
Mm.
couple of meetings that I had to attend, but I was able to get some things done. So it was a good day. I'm feeling really good today. I
Okay,
am.
good. That means it's
No
gonna be a
complaints.
good
You have a
episode
snack?
today.
I was like, I feel good today.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's girl. Let
Oh
me
my
tell you,
goodness.
real talk.
Yes. Got a little pep in my step and everything. So, y'all, how are y'all doing? The question is, how are you doing? If you're watching this episode, there is a way that you can send us some comments and some love. Let us know how you're doing. We spend real talk time catching up, seeing how things have been going for us. But then there's just a little something we want to talk about, and so we've been on this kick for a little while, and I'm sure we're gonna get off of it, but I do have a little something in addition to kind of what's been going on this week. I need to talk about something, okay?
Okay, all right. Get it off your chest. What you need to say.
Okay, I need to get it off my chest. And I'm serious about this journey to 50. So I'm just noticing, doing some reflection. I'm noticing some things about myself. So since we already talked about gray hair everywhere, if you got to go back to the episode if you missed it, but we was talking about
Yeah.
gray hair up there, down there, and everywhere. I just wanted to know, do you shave or wax? Like, real talk, do you do that, or do you just kind of let your hairs be?
So listen, okay. It's so funny that you asked that question because I usually wax, right? And I
Okay.
had an appointment today, but I think I'm going to take a break from waxing. One, because I exfoliate
Hmm.
in the secret places and under my arm. However, I didn't know that if you wear the gloves, you can rub too hard in sensitive places. And
Oh, wow.
so I have created a situation in my secret place that I just don't think I want to wax for a little while because it has hair. If you don't exfoliate, then you get the hair bumps and stuff like that. And I think I'm just over it. So I'm just going to go back to shaving. I don't want to do it.
Oh, I'm just thinking about what could possibly happen. Oh, that could hurt so bad. This is what it reminds me of. Remember, because neither one of us get them anymore, but remember when you would get a perm and you had
Yeah.
irritated your scalp already?
Yes.
So then
Yes.
ah!
That's exactly what. And I was like, oh my God, I think I worked too hard. Oh no. So it really created a situation. And
Mhm.
I was like, girl, I can't come to my appointment today. And I probably won't come for a little while. I just
Yeah.
want to go back to how it used to be. We didn't have to worry about all of that. It's just in my natural state. Maybe I'll try that.
Listen.
See
So
what
let me
happens.
tell you, I don't need to tell too much of my business, but let me tell you,
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
asked because the seasons are changing, and for
Mm-hmm.
me, that means everything gonna be covered up. My legs, I'm
Everything.
gonna be in long sleeves,
Right.
like why Sway? Why should I shave, Sway? I'm
Right.
just saying.
Who cares? Like, that's
I'm
how I feel. So,
I'm not gonna be in
hmm
a bathing suit is what I'm thinking, not anytime
right,
soon. So
right.
um it reminds me of India Ari's videos. Sometimes I shave my legs and sometimes I
Sometimes
don't.
I don't. Right.
I'm just saying. So I'm not really my eyebrows. I do want to continue getting them done, but I even go to
Okay.
a what do they do? The threading.
Threading.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing the
Yep.
threading lately. I like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I've gotten that. So I still do my eyebrows when I get my hair done and I get my chin waxed. But I think that's the extent of it for now for me.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, I will be hoping all heals well.
Oh, okay. Golly. Another thing nobody ain't tell me. I didn't know. So now I
Another
know.
thing, somebody didn't tell us. Listen, these conversations don't get any realer than this. I don't know where you can
Right.
go, what podcast you can go to, and they ask you about shaving. So let us know if y'all got any secret sauces to treatment and all that kind of stuff, so we can take good care of our stuff. Um,
Right.
I just needed to get that off my chest because I'm not doing it. I refuse. Get somebody else to do it. I'm not
Definitely. Get
doing it.
somebody else to do it because
Get
why?
somebody
You
else.
know,
Yep.
it's
So
fine.
thank
It'll
you
be
for real
fine.
talk, sister. I needed that. I needed that.
No
um,
problem. I got you.
we like to dive deep at some point in our podcast. We like to just go somewhere. Our organization, as you know, if you've been listening, is Real Women, and we exist to create safe spaces for women to do soul work on themselves. And we host these sister circles in person, virtually. And we talk about things that are on our hearts and minds that you don't just get to talk about anywhere. And maybe you got a good girlfriend or a good family member that you have this conversation with, but maybe not. And so we are extending our sister circle out to you all and having a deep dive conversation with you. So I wanted to talk, sister, about fear.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-mm.
I want to talk about fear. And
Okay.
the reason is because I have been working really hard on myself this year. I took um, time off from some of the entrepreneurial things that I normally do within a year. One of them
Mm-hmm.
is group mentoring of women. I
Mm-hmm.
have a mentoring group called Leading with Soul, and I still mentor some of them individually, but we usually go through a year-long mentoring process together. And with all of the things that are on my plate, I just felt overwhelmed. And so, what I decided to do this year, and I didn't know it was going to be the entire year, but I know now that we are in, the month that we're in, it's the entire year I'm spending just focused on me and reflection
Mm.
time and what do I need. And what I figured out during some of this reflection time is that I have allowed fear to drive some of my decisions and
Wow.
or indecision, right?
Okay.
And I
Mm-hmm.
know that all of us do that on some level, shape, or form. But I thought we should just talk about it and kind of put it out there so that we
Mm-hmm.
can think through it together as a community on this podcast. So, is there anything that you haven't done? And this is funny for me to ask you because there's a lot that you have done and
It
just
is.
done it afraid, right? So I
Yes.
can't wait to hear this. Is there anything that you haven't done yet that fear is keeping you from doing?
Yeah, so I am in school right now,
Okay.
getting a master's to become a counselor.
Okay.
And what's scary about that is venturing into a new profession. So I have been an
Mm-hmm.
auditor. I think I shared in a previous episode that I'm an auditor. I've been doing that for 20 plus years. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel in my heart that counseling or getting this license to become a counselor or becoming a licensed professional counselor is something that I feel called to do, but it
Mm-hmm.
is scary. And now I'm at the end of the program and I only have like two classes left, and then it's practicum and internship where I really have to practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I am terrified.
Mm-hmm.
So I have pushed my practicum and internship date back to May. I could start in January, but I've only reached out to one center to, get my practicum hours, but I haven't reached out to any other centers to try to counseling centers to try to schedule something to get on there involved in their internship program. And it's because of fear. And I noticed that when I'm afraid, I just push it on the back burner and I avoid things.
Mm-hmm.
And honey, I've been kicking that can down the street. And so I was like, well, I'll do it in May. I'll get started in May. But yeah, it's because I'm really afraid. I've been doing all of this academic work and getting all the knowledge, but then you're talking about putting it into practice
Mm-hmm.
and really meeting with real life people who are
Mm-hmm.
dealing with things. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't know. What if I mess up? So it's all of these thoughts that's coming up for me. And I'm just really scared.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, because I really I was trying to think about what you might say and I couldn't think of
Okay.
anything just yet. So
Okay.
so it's good that you shared. Do
Mhm.
you think that is there a deadline? Is there a point like graduation? Like, is there a place that you know is coming where you're going to have to kick it into gear? Or is it possible that you might just kind of keep kicking the can?
No, so I really got to do it because my last two classes, I'm going to finish those by May of next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I'll have left are my exams and the practicum and internship. And I
Wow.
desire to graduate in 2025. So it
So
won't,
you
it
can't
won't, there
even
won't be anything
graduate. You
left.
can't even move to the next step until you do these things. I get it.
I
I
can't
get it.
go ahead and do
I
anything
get it.
until. And so I was like, well, let me just focus on these last two classes. That's what I told myself. Let me just focus on these last two classes, get those out of the way, and then I'll do the practicum and internship. That's what I said. It sounded really good.
You see it. That's what I said to myself.
That's what I said to myself. Yeah. Hey, that works so you don't have to struggle. You might want to go on a vacation, get that in because it's going to take some time for you to do, the practicum. It's going to be about a year and a half. So just wait till the summer.
Yeah. So is that a real tangible okay way to manage it for you? Like how are you going to overcome it in order to just kind of move forward and do it?
I'm gonna just have to do it. Like,
Yeah.
just tell myself, like, look, you're running out of time,
Yeah.
and they have a certain amount of time where you have to submit the application for practicum. Like, I have to get approval from the school. So there's a
Mhm.
whole application process. So I have to get it done so that I can be ready in May. So I have to look at when the deadline is, and I just gotta jump in the water. Like,
Yeah.
there's
It helps.
nothing to do.
It helps to have a deadline that
Yeah.
you won't be able to move forward with some things unless you do those things. That's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Hmm.
There are certain things in my life that have kind of been pushed away or delayed because there was no deadline, right?
Yeah.
So that ends up being something that I found myself doing. So we're
Mhm.
gonna get to what maybe tidbits we would give, some takeaways from it, but I want to share mine, so I'm putting mine out
Okay.
there.
Okay. I
The
want to hear it.
ah, and this will resonate with you. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
Well, let me start by saying first, one example that came to mind when you were talking, as it related to something I have overcome, was my doctorate. It scared
Mm,
me, all of what it took to do my doctorate, except for the classwork. I was used to the classes, but then they call it ABD, all but dissertation, when you get out of your classwork and you just have to start writing. So my classes took me 3 years, typical doctoral program, set of classes at George Washington University. And then my writing took me 7 years. It took
Are you
me
serious?
7 years, almost twice, 3 times as much time to finish my doctorate. And it was because I allowed life to life. I got
Okay.
married during that time. I had, a baby right up until the end. But I was scared. I was scared of writing something and putting it out there and having somebody judge it and see whether it was good enough to be published. And
Yep.
it's so crazy I'm saying this out loud. I just put all of this together, Shavon. Oh my God.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's how it happens. Circle
This is
moment.
happening. This is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my dissertation was examining the leadership. I'm sorry, examining the spirituality of African American women college presidents and how their spirituality affected their leadership practices.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it was like really good stuff to me, right?
Yeah.
And real good meat came out of it. But in order to get to the place where it was a finished product, I had to write and I had to stop doing some of the things I would normally do so that I could sit and write.
Yeah.
And I did it. It took 7 years because they don't really give you a deadline. You can be all but dissertation, ABD, for the rest of your life if you don't finish
Really?
it.
Okay. Uh-huh.
You just have to pay a little bit to stay enrolled. And after that, you meet with your advisor, your chair, you set up a committee. But if you drag your feet, it's you dragging your feet.
It's on
So
you.
yeah, so I did it though, right? I did it, and I have a published dissertation out there in the world that nobody reads dissertations, but I have it out there.
It's
It's
out
out.
there. Right.
So here's my fear. My fear is putting my own original work out in the world. And there are two pieces of original work right now that I have a heart to put out. One is a book, and
Yep.
Shavon Carter
Publish
happens
it.
to be a publisher, and she has published all of Real Women's publications. Check out our website for our books that you can order. And then she has done them for individuals, several individuals. She's published their books and has worked with me. We have worked in concert with one another to publish an anthology where women have written together. Purpose pushers. So a lot has happened in the realm of writing, and I have been writing my book now with Purpose Publishing, owned by Shavon Carter, for how long? How long as of this taping?
I think maybe about three. We might be on year three.
I think we
Yeah.
might be on year 3. And she's so kind.
Yeah.
She letting me be. But
Yeah.
the real reason I have not published that book is out of fear. It is fear. And the second piece is music, putting my own. I have done background vocals for people years past. I have been lead on other people's projects in the past, but they wrote the songs, they, produced the songs. I just had to come and sing. But to write and produce my own music and then put it out in the world, I'm just scared. So
So I'm
those are my
curious,
two.
sister. So I see. So thank you for sharing that,
Mhm.
and I see the connection between it, both of them, like you said, being your original works. I'm just curious about what is fear saying to you as it relates to publishing your original individual songs and book.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's a bit of fear of judgment, right? That and or rejection, that it won't be received well. I think that's a bit of
Mm,
it. Um,
mhm.
and then it's like wearing your heart on your sleeve when you put something out that you have created, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your baby, and you put it out in the world and hope that nobody takes advantage of it, nobody talks bad about it, call my baby
Yeah.
pretty, not ugly, all of that stuff. But here's the thing. I
Okay.
I made the connection while I was talking that my
Mm.
dissertation was all my words. I mean,
Yeah.
I referenced authors, but
Hmm.
they are all my words. I put that entire 500-page document together and
Mm.
published it. And it is
Hmm.
out in the world. Like literally, you could look it up
Yeah.
and find me, right?
Hmm.
I've done it before. So if I've done it before, I can do it
Yeah.
again. That
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
just, I only thought to mention my dissertation when you were talking about going to school. That's how
Hmm.
I made that connection. But yeah, so this is getting long, but I wanted to share that because it's heavy in this year of letting things go and getting better and reflecting. It's something big for me. So I
Yes.
wanted to talk through it so that I could talk about how I'm overcoming it or how I plan to overcome
Mm.
it. And then what are some
Hmm.
things that you would even suggest for me or anyone listening?
Hmm.
And so I heard you say you're just doing it. You have a deadline that's not even set by you. Before I share what
Hmm.
I plan on doing to overcome this, and then using this doggone platform as like accountability is crazy to me. But that's
Real
how I
crazy.
decided I'm gonna do this. So we out here.
Right.
We out here.
Right.
We out here.
You know,
Any
that's what
suggestions you have?
happens. I was
Say it
gonna
again.
say that's what happens when we put stuff out in the circle. You know how we have sister circles and where it's like, okay, I declare this is going to happen or this is what I desire. And sure enough, when we put it out there, it comes to pass. So it's really powerful when we do stuff
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Um, but just nuggets on how to overcome. I think
Yeah.
what really helps me is just self-talk, like really reminding myself this is not something that I'm doing just haphazardly. It's something that I really feel like God is calling me to do and that I
Yeah.
have a gift for. I know that I have to learn skills and I may be discouraged by some of the feedback that I get from my professors, but it doesn't speak to my calling. And so it's just
Mhm.
reminding myself of that and letting me know that one, this is what I'm purposed to do. And it's going to be growing pains and a learning process, but just stay focused. I'm not going to know everything overnight. And it's a process. So I think just the encouragement. So I think if
Mhm.
someone is out there and they're having the fear, um, trying to catch that negative talk, before it goes too far, and just speaking life to yourself. Like you
Mhm.
are able to do this, even if you don't believe it, even if you don't see it, you have it in you. The thought didn't come from just anywhere. Like it came for a reason, and so you can do this. And it sounds cliche, but it's facts. It
Yeah.
really can happen when we put our beliefs into it and what we believe we can do, like that really is powerful. And we
Yeah.
start acting as if it is possible, that can really create some momentum and motivation.
Yeah, I received that. And I have noticed that in the seasons that I am not affirming of myself on a regular,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
um I am not journaling or whatever those things are, that meditating on amazing thoughts, that those are the times that I'm more susceptible to fear taking over in a space or in an area.
Yeah.
So I received that. So those things help me. Thank you for that. And I am thinking about us, but of course, whoever's listening as well, your fear may
Mhm.
not be school related. It may not be book or music related, but whatever it is, whatever that self-talk is that you need to pour into yourself in order to do it, whatever deadline you need in order to put something in place, maybe giving somebody else, telling somebody else, putting yourself on Front Street to be accountable
Yeah.
to somebody, as I am doing on this platform, may
Yeah.
help you. And then I think for me, in addition to all those things, I'm reminding myself that I've done things scary before. And
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of that fear, shoot, real women, I did it scared, you
I
know?
was thinking about that. Yeah. And look
That's
how
a
this
baby.
baby is 10 years old. Look how big this
Yes,
baby is and how much support.
yes, a baby out in the world that is out here and doing well,
Mm-hmm.
thriving. So I remind myself that I've done scary things before. And on the other side of that fear, amazing things have happened. And I think I've heard you say this before, that there's no, failing. It really is just, if there is, it's failing forward, it's moving forward, it's learning from
Mm-hmm.
whatever the lessons are to get better. So I'm reminding myself of that. And I'm just getting back into it. I'm doing it scared. I'm going to do it scared.
Yeah.
So um, I
Yeah.
am going to I'm putting it in the circle. This is our circle. I'm putting it out there, that I'm going to put
Okay.
music and words out in the world. Yay.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what, something else that I thought about as it relates to music and the book. So if anyone has that similar story, just taking the first step of completing it. Like you don't even have to put it out there if that's
That's
too
good.
overwhelming for you. Just take the first step of, I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna commit to finishing it, and that's
That's
it. And
good.
then I'll get enough nerve to, publish it. It's steps. We don't have to jump into the water if it's too overwhelming for us.
That's so good. So good. And then I remind myself how it's so funny. You can tell other people what to do all day long. you know,
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
you can help encourage and motivate and support someone all day long. So I literally have created curriculum around courage, and that
Hmm.
courage is definitely not the absence of fear.
Yeah,
It is making a decision to do something anyway. And so we're gonna
yeah.
do it anyway. Everyday courage. We're
Do
gonna
it.
do
So
it. Yeah.
exactly. And my declaration, because I don't want to just have you have one, and then I'll be like, girl,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, let's go on to the next segment.
Right.
So because I wasn't gonna say that, but no, I'm gonna do it. My declaration is that I'm gonna take the next step of reaching out to the center so that I can secure a practicum and internship site. That's the first step because I gotta have that for the application. So I gotta do that first. So I will do that
Yes.
before the year is out. Yeah, that's what I'll be working
That's
on this
amazing.
last
So
month.
both before the year is out, because I have music done. I have music, to work on its drafts, and so there are certain things I can do before the year is out. Sounds like certain things you
Yep.
can do before the year is out. So we will
Yes.
be up here encouraging and keeping each other accountable.
Yep.
I
Mm.
like it a lot. I like it a lot. That was a really deep dive, and
That was.
I didn't plan
You
on
just
taking
never
us
know.
that deep, but I knew I wanted to talk about fear because it's something I'm dealing with, and I really hope it resonates with someone. I know the power of putting things in our circles, so that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yes, I love
Okay,
it.
well, we're coming back up for some air,
Woo.
and
Pepper, because I was like, "Ooh, that's a lot." Okay. Whew.
that was a
It's
lot. It
good
was a
though.
lot.
Good stuff.
But
Mhm.
and we go there. So, but we also
Mhm.
laugh and kiki, and we keep up. We keep up with what's happening in the world too. We do. So,
Yes.
our next segment is called "Put Myself in Her Shoes," and it's our
Mhm.
opportunity to just look around and see what's going on in the world around us, whether it's out here or on social media, just keeping up with what's going on and then sharing it, but from a different perspective. Our real women perspective is that we choose not to just point fingers and talk about what she or he should have done, but we put ourselves in their shoes and really try to imagine what it would be like to have to deal with those circumstances and what's going on, so that we can give an answer from within ourselves rather than judging and being, condemning of somebody else. It feels yucky to us. So we choose to do it this way.
Right.
So segment
Exactly.
3 is put myself in her shoes. And
Mhm.
I got one, Shavon. I got one.
Okay, I'm ready.
So I've been going on this here social media every once in a while, and there have been several postings recently of women setting up a moment and
Okay.
getting down on one knee to
Mm.
propose to their partner.
Mhm.
And I have seen so many of them and then read so many comments that are mostly negative, right? So
Yep.
I just wanted to get an idea of what you think. Do you believe that thought process? Do you understand that thought process? Do you think women should do that? Would you do it? Put yourself in her shoes.
Okay, so I feel like I'm always somewhere in these scenarios, right? Because putting myself in her shoes, I have been there, sort of. So I have been her. I
Okay.
didn't get down on one knee. But
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know my story, I was married before. I'm divorced now. Been divorced since for about 9 years. But when I was before I got married and I was dating my ex-husband, I was so focused on getting married because I felt like God told me that I was going to be married by 2009. I had ended a relationship earlier that year and the time was ticking. It was 2009, about to be the end of the last quarter of 2009. And I wasn't married, I wasn't in a relationship. And so I reconnected with someone that I had dated back in college and we had remained friends. And 3 months go in, and I'm like, I feel like, we should just get married. So I proposed not on one knee, but it was over the phone and said, I should just get married because he lived in Florida. I was in DC area. And
Hmm.
I was like, we should just get married when I come down here to visit. So I proposed the idea of us
Hmm.
getting married. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. We know each other. It's all good. We've been knowing each other since college. So, yeah, great idea. So yeah, I have done it. Would I do it again? No, that wasn't
But
for
slow down,
me.
slow
And
down,
that,
slow down, slow down. Hold on, hold on.
yeah,
So
hmm
you was like, you know what? When I get there, we should get married. And he was like,
yeah,
yeah, maybe we should. And that was as simple as
yeah.
that.
It was as
Wow.
simple as that. Because we
Wow.
had been talking about marriage, but he had never said when, or we never talked about when. And so I
Mhm,
was talking to someone, and they were like, who says that the man got to do this and blah blah. And
mhm,
so I was like, I'm gonna just bring up the idea. But it was because I had an agenda. I was
mhm,
trying to get to a goal, and he was, someone I was like, yeah, we could do this,
mhm.
and
And
that's
you
how it
so you
happened.
said you wouldn't do it again, you said?
I wouldn't do it again because one, I desire to be proposed to. Like I just want to experience that. And
Yeah.
I feel like it set the tone for the relationship, like me like driving the relationship. And when I think about my motivation, like it wasn't genuine, it wasn't pure. And I think that contributed to the breakdown. Not there was some other stuff that happened. Get the book. I wrote it, Dear Miss Wholeness on Amazon. I wrote all about it.
Get the
It's
book.
a crazy story, right? It's real crazy, but I just would like to do it in a way or be proposed to and just experience like what it looks like for the man to take the lead, to have that in his heart, to want to, propose to me. So I didn't like me being the leader of that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And it is wonderful to hear the perspective of someone who has been there, done that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe not
Right.
the exact way that I've been seeing it, but or that we have all been seeing it if we've been, watching it on social media. But to hear the heart of someone who has been in those shoes and like I
Yeah.
wanted to get married, and so talking through it, somebody was like, why don't you just ask and see how that goes?
Exactly.
Right,
Right.
right. So putting myself in her shoes, I really have to say, if I had someone in my ear,
Mm-hmm.
not even hyping me up, but just justifying it, like just saying,
Mm-hmm.
the day, who this is 2000 whatever, right? At the
Right.
time, whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why would you not? Maybe that would have been a thought in my head. But
Mhm.
from my perspective, putting me in her shoes,
Yep. Mhm.
child, everything I have ever been taught said, like
Yep. Mhm.
everything I have ever been taught is let the man
Yep.
do it. I mean,
Right.
let the man do it to the point
Mhm.
where I have, and I think women do this. I have intimated, like, yeah, I think I'm ready to get married, or just have those married conversations. My husband, my husband jokes all the time. He's like, it when he was dating, he was like, if a woman even said anything that rhymed with Mary, he was like, "Do you want to carry me?" He was like, "Nope, I'm gone."
Nope. I don't want it. Uh-uh. No.
So so I know how we as women can kind of insinuate, that
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yep.
You ready? I could get married anytime, anytime.
Yeah.
I have done all of those things. So I
Mhm.
feel like I have made it clear in past relationships that I was ready to get married, and that I
Mhm.
would marry that person.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I felt like something would fall from heaven on top of me, or I don't know what I thought. I just thought how, he has to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I
Mhm.
thought. So that's what I
Yeah.
think is happening when people are watching women do it, that's the lens
Mhm.
they're coming from.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
oh my God, don't do it, don't do it, don't get down there. You're not supposed to
Right.
be the one to and so I have felt that inner something happen inside of me, but I know from whence it comes. It comes from
Mhm.
my orientation. Everything in
Yeah.
me has been taught that that's how it's supposed to happen. So I've never had anything else in my ear.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I do want to say no judgment. Like, I do want to say
Right.
that out loud. I have
Mhm.
not done any research to say, do those marriages work or
Right.
nah?
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yeah.
I'll ask you. I know, yours ended. Do you feel
Mhm.
like you said something about it? You felt like you were driving most of the relationship. Do you think that as a first step kind of affected and was a domino for it ultimately ending?
Yeah, so I think it was definitely a contributing factor because I was rushing. Had
Okay.
I slowed down and allowed things to naturally take its course, we wouldn't have gotten married. It's
Mm,
just one, we were long distance, and if I really would have thought about it and sought wise counsel and really processed the whole scenario, I wouldn't have gone through with it. So I think if a woman is in this situation and they're doing it out of, oh, I'm trying to get married by this certain time, or my friends are getting married and I don't want to be left out. Like if it's any of that, then I would just ask that you would just do some self exploration to figure out your motive because, to be honest, I wasn't genuine. Me getting
hmm
married wasn't genuine. So it's like I'm just trying to do it because I'm trying to meet a goal. But then that shows up in the relationship because I'm really not there for him. Wanting him for him is because he's an object of affection. He's the vehicle to help me get to where I'm trying to go. And that's not fair to anybody. I wouldn't want to be treated like that. So that's the only thing I would say about that I learned from my experience. I know other people's experiences are different. We could be just in a progressive society, but
mm,
I would just ask, a woman to do some self exploration before making that decision.
yeah. And not only, all of the things you just said, but really honestly, like, does it pan out for you? Like,
Right,
is it
right.
gonna work? You gotta
Yeah.
really, like, is it an unreal expectation to think
Mhm.
once I do it, everything
Mhm.
else that I need him to do is going to fall into place.
Right, right.
And you just don't know, you don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And
well,
what's funny? There was a whole show about that on TV. I think it
really,
was on TV One, yeah, where the woman proposed. I forgot the name of it, but there was a whole show about that. It was on OWN. That's what it was on the OWN network. I can't remember the name though. Yeah,
yeah,
Rebecca
I would
Lynn
be
co-produced
curious
it.
to know, like, if anybody has any, wonderful stories or horror stories, please share.
Yeah,
I would love to
yeah.
hear. just and not even to be in anybody's business. I'm
Mhm.
really just the day and age in which we're living. Marriage is hard enough.
Yeah.
It is in and
Yeah.
of itself, marriage is hard. And so
Yeah.
to add pieces on that, either, unrealistic expectations, or either party pushing or um, forcing, for lack of a better word,
Mhm.
someone to get
Right.
into marriage when they don't really
Mhm.
want to be there.
Mhm.
Either party, I think that just
Yeah.
complicates things so much.
It
So
does. It really
yeah,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
So let us know what y'all think about that one. I don't know. Put yourself in their shoes. Don't just
Yep.
judge. That's not what we're
Mhm.
here for.
Yeah.
We have really, the time has flown with this one.
Okay.
The
It
time has
has.
really flown. We are
Mhm.
at our last segment, and
Yep.
I have really enjoyed this, sister. We have put ourselves on accountability road for
We
everybody
have.
to hold us accountable.
Yep.
And we're going to ask you all if there's anything you want to put in the podcast circle. We are willing to hear you. We're looking at our comments, so please share with us. Feel free to email us. You can go to the website to do that. And
Mhm.
so I guess this last segment, it always is a spiritual nugget. And my sister has tasked me with those. And I love to think deeply about what we just talked about. Honestly, I'm really doing some reflection while we're talking so that it can come out of what we've discussed. And so my spiritual nugget is really about trust.
Mm.
When with every segment that we've discussed, I've really just, and we haven't said the word once, I don't think,
Mm-mm. Nope.
but what I've been hearing is the importance of trust.
Mm.
So I'll start with trusting yourself.
Mm.
It is up to me, it is my responsibility to have faith in me, to
Wow.
trust that everything God has put, I feel this thing, everything
Mhm.
that God has put in me is valuable and worthy enough
Mm.
to be explored and expressed. And it's not until I trust me enough to explore what's going on inside of me
Mm.
and to express it in whatever way feels right and good and serving of others. So it may be, as Shavon said, maybe just creating something, just getting it out of you and putting it in your journal or typing it up or
Mm.
sharing it with a family member. That might be the extent at which you need to express, but trust yourself enough to do that. And then it might be a bigger platform, because fear, going back, right? Fear would keep us saying that's enough. But trust yourself enough to explore what God has placed in you. And I go all the way back to when we talked about in the first episode just how Real Women came about because I needed it. And
Mhm.
so had I just decided just me and God are going to talk and work through this, or just me and my close friends are going to talk about this, we would never have established sister circles across the country and abroad. We would not be
Mm.
doing this podcast. And so every baby step that you take, as Shavon said, to trust yourself,
Mm.
to explore and express, on the other side of that is more. On the
Mm.
other side of trusting yourself is more.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Say la.
Right. Right. I don't
Phew.
have anything that really resonated with me. And I wish I had my journal in here because that was one of my recent entries about self-trust.
Mm.
So thank you, sister, for
Mm.
sharing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, sister.
Mm.
Thank you all for sticking with us. This was a little longer one, but I think it was good. I think we needed it. I needed
Yeah.
it. So thank y'all.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
has been Real Women, Real Talk.
Mm.
And we hope that you subscribe, you follow us, go to our website. We host sister circles throughout the month, both in person and virtual. We would love for you to be a part of that. Go to our website. We have opportunities now for you to become a connector so that you can connect us to your area and we can start having sister circles in your area. We also have facilitator training coming up soon so that we can help you become the type of facilitator that can host an interactive, engaging, non judgmental sister circle of your own or with us. There's information about all of that at realwomenrock.org. Go to the Work With Us and the events pages and stay connected.
Yeah.
We are real women. And what, sister?
And real women talk. Yes,
Mhm.
indeed. Mm.
Y'all take care.
Bye, y'all.